Hey, good Friday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on this finally Friday. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. And yesterday, our hailstorms pushed us over 1,000 hail reports for the year. So yes, we have officially reached over 1,000 hail reports in 2025. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. The heat rages on. Have you felt it? Are you to the west of the plains? Temperatures have been very, very warm, breaking records out to the west, and that will continue as we head into the weekend. And storms return next week. We do have a low chance for storms today. We'll talk about that, but then the better chances for storms will be next week. Let's talk about that over 1,000 hail reports. So yes, over 1,000 hail reports reported so far for 2025. Yesterday, we saw 128 hail reports, 240 wind reports, and 2 tornado reports, that up in Indiana. But for the entire year, the year-to-date so far, we've seen 525 tornado reports, over 1,000 hail reports, and over 3,000 high wind reports. How many hail reports do you think we're actually going to get this year? Whenever it's all said and done, what do you expect? Sometimes, I was looking back at the years in the past, 2023, 2024. Each year, our busiest season is different. Sometimes it's April, sometimes it's May, sometimes it's June. So when do you think that we're going to hit that busy month? Have we already hit it? And how many hail reports do you think that we're going to have for the entire year? I think that Derek and John's forecast was right around 7,700. So we've still got a ways to go. All right, taking a look at what we saw yesterday, weekend storm reports, weekend. What is this? This is Thursday storm reports. Thursday storm reports here. It started off in St. Louis. Those storms formed a little bit farther north than we originally expected. Got some good hailers on the west side of St. Louis, and then as we track down to the south, it's like these storms just exploded across the southern and eastern sides of Tennessee and to the northern sides of Alabama and Georgia. Just to the north of Atlanta, these storms dropped some pretty large hailstones, about 2 inches in size, sometimes even larger, about 2.5 inches, I think is the largest hailstone that we saw yesterday. Then it became a wind event, and those strong winds continued to push through the south as we headed into the overnight hours. Taking a look at your hailstorm highlights, this is your storms yesterday that our meteorologists mapped, and now they are on hailtrace.com. So let's take a look at just outside of Atlanta first. I saw these storms went up yesterday, and we were getting 2 inches, 2.5 inch hail reports. Pretty impressive. So your largest hail size that we have for this map is 2.5 inches. This is for Woodstock, Ackworth, Forsyth, and Fairburn. I saw some really impressive pictures in this area. Our meteorologists do a phenomenal job gathering these pictures to the point that I was looking for pictures yesterday, and every picture I would find, they already found. They already found it. It's already on the map whenever I went to hailtrace.com. So they did a phenomenal job gathering that yesterday. Taking a look at the hailstorm highlight from Alabama. Now this is just to the north of Birmingham, anywhere from Albertsville, Gadsden, Coleman. A little over 2 inches in hail size here as well. Over 86,000 homes impacted. This is another 3-star map. And going up to Tennessee now, another 3-star map from yesterday, from Knoxville to Winchester, Jackson, Tennessee. We saw right around golf ball size hail in this area. This is when storms just got started, and then they started to intensify as we went down to the south. Still about 86,000 homes impacted here. Alrighty, let's take a look at the heat yesterday. It was hot yesterday. Temperatures records were broken across the west. If you were just to the west of the plains, those temperatures were well above average. 92 for your record down in El Paso, broken. 100 Phoenix, that's the hottest they've been all year, the first time to hit triple digits yesterday. And 101 out in Yuma, Arizona. So it was hot yesterday, and it's going to continue to stay hot. Take a look at your future jet stream. Why are we so hot right now? That thanks to a high pressure system that's sitting across the 4 corners right now. You can see this ridge forming across the west. starting to dip into a trough as we get out to the east, pulling in colder air for some of our Midwest states, and then of course those storms off the East Coast. But then you head back to the west and it's a completely different story. It's dry, it's hot, way above average. This is what we're going to continue to see as we head into the weekend. So let's take a look at those temperatures above average for this time of the year. Yep, warmer than average today, Saturday, bringing that heat into the plains a little bit here. And then even Sunday, it seems to cool down a little bit out to the west, but that heat still stays in the states, just moving off to the east along the Mississippi, upper Mississippi Valley, Oklahoma, and Texas. Stay pretty warm for the weekend. Warm and windy is what we can expect here in the plains for Saturday. Now let's take a look at your current conditions. We've got that front moving across the east, bringing some storms out to the east coast today. There's your storm risk. We'll talk about it in a minute. But for the most part, everything's just rain, nothing severe, at least that I see. I don't see anything severe right now. Just watching for that low pressure system to kick up some storms later on this afternoon. Pretty quiet out to the west as well. Just a few little light showers, maybe even some snow farther up into the mountains. 69 here in Oklahoma City, 56 in Kansas City, 71 in Denver. It gets warmer. Look at all that heat moving in from Mexico. Yeah, it's hot down there. It's hot down in the southern portion of Texas as well, into the 80s. I said it felt like spring a few days ago. Now some of us are just feeling that summertime heat. For the most part, we're pretty dry out there, not a ton of moisture. Our dew points are greatest down in southern Texas. No surprise there, getting all that moisture coming in from the Gulf. What about those storm chances today? Here's the Storm Prediction Center. What we're watching for here is going to be some isolated small hail sizes and some high winds. The tornado risk is very low. You're going to see more storms popping up in the afternoon, isolated at first, but then mostly severe clear as we head into the late evening hours tonight, early tomorrow morning. No severe risks on the board. Tomorrow, however, tomorrow afternoon, you could see another chance for some high wind up in the northern plains out to the west a little bit. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm not too worried about that severe risk. Here's your significant hail model. Could you see any hail from storms today? I think it's pretty unlikely. We're not seeing any of those yellows, oranges pop in here. If we saw yellows and oranges, that means some larger hailstones. Just the fact that we're seeing these white colors pop up on your significant hail model means that that hail size probably staying pretty small, at least quarter size or smaller. And here's your forecasted max hail size for today. I have it at quarter or smaller, and I still think that the risk for hail either way is pretty low. I don't think that we're going to see any hail here, but if we do, quarter or smaller. Here's your forecast, your hail forecast. I kept all of those risks in that green color. That's the low category for today. I know it says Thursday. It should be for today. Moving on to your wind risk. Now, I do think that we could see some stronger wind gusts from some of these storms, right around 65, maybe up to 70 miles an hour. Probably not any stronger than that. What we consider these storms to be are marginally severe. That means quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, something that we see very often. Now, one thing that I do want you to pay attention to is that tornado risk, okay? It's a level 1 anywhere from Raleigh all the way down to Wilmington on the east side of North Carolina. So be aware of that. Make sure that you have multiple alerts, multiple ways to get tornado alerts, just in case something does pop up in your area today. All right, moving on to your future radar. I think we're taking you into Saturday now. There's your storms popping up later on today, this afternoon into this evening. We got to watch these for that hail, high wind, and even tornado risk. But other than that, we're focusing on Saturday now. Let's take a look at Saturday. The only risk that we have for Saturday is some high wind possible. Your hail risk is extremely low. I don't even have a hail forecast for today. But you could get some of these strong winds coming from some of these storms, especially as they weaken. They'll put out a strong wind gust, and then they'll weaken. By the time we get to Sunday, I think that we could see some storms produce lightning and thunder. Really not a strong storm over here. This is an area that I've been really keeping an eye on. I just don't think we have enough moisture to get those supercell structures. However, we could see some high winds over here, lightning, thunder, you kind of know the drill. And then we'll see more storms up in this area as well. Nothing severe though. Here's your wind forecast for today. Tomorrow. Again, it's pretty low risk here. What about early next week? Because your storm chances do increase as we head into early next week. So we're talking Monday, Tuesday timeline here. Right around tax day, are we going to have storms on Tuesday? There's a question about it. Here's your risk for Monday. So late in the day on Monday, you're going to see storms moving into this area, including the northern side of Kentucky, southern side of Indiana, and Ohio here. Cincinnati just in the middle of that risk. I do think that we'll see this risk expand a little bit. So if you're in places like Cleveland all the way out to St. Louis, this area we have seen get hit over and over this year. I would go ahead, put Monday evening on your calendar because you could see some storms moving into your area by Monday and Tuesday. Just kind of a big heads up here. Of course, we're still several days out, so this could change as we get more information on this storm system as it gets closer. Now we do start to see a little bit more moisture move in next week, and that's going to be good for your storm chances. What do we see? Storms trying to go up in the plains on Wednesday? That's definitely possible. We'll have to see. Again, we're still several days out from this, so we'll get more information as we get closer to this date. Taking a look at those future temperatures, 70s here in Oklahoma today, a warm afternoon, 60s and 70s up in Denver. We stay pretty warm as we head into the weekend, except for those out to the Midwest and East Coast. Still really cold out here. We're pulling in this Canadian air from this trough that's moving off the East Coast. This is going to keep you chilly through the weekend. We also have some colder air moving into the West Coast by the very, very end of the weekend. We're talking about Sunday at this point. This low pressure system will be the next one to watch, potentially producing storms, as I mentioned, on Monday evening. I like this word that I heard today from another meteorologist. We look for troughs in the, and I thought I had my upper air models on here. Do I not? Okay, well, I'll just show you from your temperatures then. So we look for troughs whenever we want to identify severe weather. It's these, watch these white lines right here. It's these dips in the white lines. So whenever we see a trough start to form, that's whenever we know severe weather is possible. So let's go through to Monday. I'm going to skip through a little bit here. Sunday, Monday, there's your next trough. Where do we expect storms to be? On this side of the trough, and then we kind of go down into where we've got some warmer temperatures. Where did we say storms would be earlier? Ohio, Indiana, right? So that's in the trough area. So that's what we're watching for to see more storms develop. Now, where I'm getting with this is, I liked this word that I heard from another meteorologist today. She said, it's looking extra troughy next week. And so if it's looking extra troughy, that means we could see some more active weather, better chances for severe weather next week. I just kind of liked that word. I thought it was a little silly, but it's a great way to remember that's what we look for whenever we're looking for severe weather. Alrighty, moving on. Winds will increase by Saturday. It's looking warm and windy on Saturday across most of the plains. You kind of know how that goes. It feels like a warm summer day. Windy by Sunday as well. That wind, that high wind, will start to move off to the north and east as we head into Monday. Looking into the rest of April, so we're into the third week of April at this time, it looks like temperatures are pretty likely to stay above average for this time of the year. So you know those places that just saw those records broken out to the west? It looks like we could do that once again as we head into the end of April. Mostly dry too. I'm actually kind of surprised by this. I would have expected to see some more moisture on some of these extended outlooks. That could hinder our storm chances. I think that's quite interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, and of course we'll be watching it for you. But in the meantime, make sure that you're following us on all social media channels. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And give us a call if you're interested in any of those tornado, wind, or hail maps that we mapped yesterday. Give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can even head over to our website, hailtrace.com. All right, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you back here, same time, same place on Monday.